3, 2.
And welcome everyone to the Real Leaders podcast with keys from keynotes here at the Agents of Change Summit. I'm your host, Kevin Edwards. Joining me today is Kristine Stratton, the CEO of National Recreation and Park Association, joined by Neelay Bhatt, the Vice President of Pros Consulting. People, thanks for being with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Kristine, the first question will go to you. What are the roles of parks in mental health?
Oh my gosh, there's so many, and we're delighted to be here at Agents of Change to promote exactly that, the role of parks and recreation in serving mental health outcomes. We, of course, provide access to nature and green space, which studies show increases mental health outcomes by reducing stress, reducing anxiety levels, encouraging physical activity and social connection. And we go beyond that in mental health by supporting those trusted gathering places that bring community members together. And social connection, studies show, are critical to positive mental health outcomes.
Neelay, today the social norm is to be connected online, but we're more disconnected now than ever.
Yeah.
To you, what do you like when you go to a national park, to any park in general? What do you experience and why are they important?
So that's a really good point, right? Because on the surface, we have a few thousand friends online, and yet we have very few friends in person, right? We are more connected, as you said, than ever before, and yet we are more disconnected from the neighbor next door. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where parks create such a valuable gathering space, because no one's asking what your political affiliation is, what the color of your skin is, what your religion is. Parks bring people together. Mm-hmm. And that's what I look for when I go to a park. Whether it's by myself, it's almost my third office, right? A quiet place to be and work, or I take my kids and my family to recreate, to enjoy, to just connect with nature. To me, that's the part that we really relish about parks, is the connection with nature, the connection with the outdoors, and I look back to my time growing up that I remember so fondly.
Kristine, just to add on to that as well, with this social connection, there's been an increase in stress and anxiety. What do you think about that? And from your personal experience, how have parks helped you?
So deeply. I remember growing up in central northern Maine and having access to such beautiful outdoor green space, trails, participating in rec center activities and really gaining critical skills and learning how to do things like hike safely and outdoor skills, and also team-oriented skills that I learned with my peers. Those connections have stayed with me. They were instrumental in helping me become the person that I am. And I look at Parks and Recreation and the services that our members provide in their local communities in the same way. They're providing critical life-building, life-changing skills and opportunities to our community members. And when you think about it, you look at youth 12 to 17 years of age, researchers show that the levels of depression and anxiety have increased dramatically in recent years. Parks and Recreation are here as a counter to that. We're here to provide opportunities for youth engagement, to give them a chance to learn important social emotional skills, and to be connected to one another so that they don't feel so isolated, they don't feel so alone.
I'm sensing a common theme here, that parks build community.
Well said!
So Neelay, how do we get more parks?
Oh my God, man.
What is a good park?
Oh, that's a great question. What is a good park? To me, a good park is one that best reflects the vision and the wants of the community around it that wants to use it, right? So it's, to us, the greatest planning is all about listening. And for us to be able to fulfill the vision, the wants, the desire of a community to have access to recreation, to have access to all the life skills that Kristine referenced, if we can provide them a space to do that, then we're truly successful.
Kristine, are we getting away from parks? Have people kind of lost the impact that parks can actually have and make in today's day and age?
I think that's one of the reasons we were motivated to come to Agents of Change. I mean, this is a wonderful, critical conference where all of these public health practitioners and researchers are engaged in solution building. And there are so many themes that we've heard today, things like the risk factors that contribute to the opioid epidemic, the national obesity crisis, so many things that Parks and Rec are a solution builder for. So for us to be here and to elevate the visibility of Parks and Recreation as a trusted partner, as a contributor to the solutions that we so desperately need in our communities is a huge motivation for us in being here. I think it's true, people look at Parks and Recreation and they think, oh, well, that's, you know, maybe a basketball court or a rec center where they're, you know, having fun. But what they forget is physical activity, social connection, mental health outcomes. Those are all driven by the extent to which we engage in activity, not just alone, but together.
Neelay, do you consult with, and this is just a random question, do you consult with any businesses to say, hey, let's incorporate a park close by? Because I feel like a Patagonia is a great example of having a child daycare service on site. Is something like a park maybe a good strategy for a socially responsible company?
Oh, for sure. And I think more and more companies are realizing that as well, right? So what we've identified in the last few years is public agencies can do it all themselves. Partnerships are the key, which is why we're here with NRPA as well, because we want to forge more partnerships here too. I think what private companies are recognizing that for their employees, when they're stressed at work, having a park close to work is the perfect outlet for them to recharge, to de-stress, and to actually come back being more productive employees and to feel a sense of connection with the company as well. Places like Patagonia, I mean, they are so mission-driven. It makes all the sense, and we see them through grants, through other funding support in several communities, helping that. But I think that trend only can grow as more companies realize that today people have a choice where they want to work, and they're going to go to places where they have access to a great quality of life. And these companies need to provide that if they want to attract and retain the best talent in the world.
I couldn't agree more. I just would add, the company leaders that I'm talking with, oftentimes they say their #1 challenge is employee retention.
Yep.
And what's the best way of retaining your employees? It's providing opportunities for them to do things that are meaningful. So a partnership with a local park and rec agency where they can do service projects, where they can get out and engage in activities, where they can have fun and recreate together. Those are all terrific employee retention and engagement strategies. And at NRPA, we do that all the time.
Yeah, it's interesting. The reason I ask this is because the private servants, they can do something like that, whereas the public, it might take a little bit longer. Whereas a public servant that hops into my mind, a leader in the space is Theodore Roosevelt. You know, he established all these national parks across the United States. And I grew up in Oregon. Crater Lake was one of them. We could go down there and see this massive mountain that had exploded, deep lake you can see down, and it puts life into perspective. Yeah. That's really what it does. So what type of leadership is needed at a governmental level as well to really bring parks into the conversation?
Well, I believe that we need to be more assertive in claiming the territory that we occupy in Parks and Recreation, which is community wellness hubs. We are providing vital services to communities that are directly solution-oriented to the most pressing public health issues of our day. And we need to claim that space because we are oftentimes the first department to be cut when there are difficult budget challenges. But I think it's penny wise and pound foolish and very short-sighted to not recognize that investing in Parks and Recreation is investing in your community.
I love that. I think it's been a really interesting conversation today. Yeah. You know, a lot of people think tech's going to be the thing that's going to solve all of our problems. In reality, parks, the things that we take for granted every day are right here. But it's going to take a lot of leadership to kind of bring these conversations to the fold. So the last question I have for you both, and Kristine, I'll start with you, is what is your definition of a real leader?
A real leader is someone who is willing to take risks, to be vulnerable, to serve a purpose that is higher than themselves. That's what I believe a real leader is. And someone who recognizes that the solutions that are facing us are so complex. We cannot solve them by ourselves. We have to work in partnership with others. We have to collaborate. Yep. So I believe a real leader is someone who can bring people together in service of a common cause.
Well said, Neelay.
Yeah, I think for me, a real leader is somebody sitting right next to me.
Definitely.
And I've always believed that a good leader creates more followers, but a great leader creates more leaders. And I think to me, in addition to all that she said, leaders who can empower others to go out there and be leaders in their own rights. If you can imbibe a certain culture in an organization and have those people then go in other places, that message, those shared values, the shared culture will carry across the country and around the world exponentially. And I think that's how I see collective change happening.
Beautiful. Well, folks, for these two leaders sitting next to me, I want you to go out there, empower others, and always keep it real. Thank you both.